What's up, you guys? We are so excited to bring you this week's training on how to leverage plus one, how you can choose to think about plus one as service to your customers, to your product users, and really as kind of the caveat, the cornerstone toward getting duplication started. I know when I was first starting this business and had decided, like, okay, I'm going to do this. Like, I want to go gold. I remember thinking, 20 people. Okay, that's a lot. Remember, it took me almost a month to get my first one, so y'all don't judge me, but it did take me 3.5 weeks to get my first one. So the idea of having to go recruit 19 more felt like, oh gosh. But when I realized, okay, I can have somebody help me do this, then all of a sudden it was like, okay, deep breath. And you guys, just pro tip, that's how I felt all the way to diamond. The idea of, okay, how do I get to the next level? When I remembered that there could be people building alongside me, that the more people I helped get what they want, the more quickly I would get what I wanted, which was to be successful. So, I just want you to know that plus one, it's literally it's multiplication instead of addition. So think about if you're building a home and you have, I have no idea because I've never built a house, but let's say you have 100,000 bricks that have to be laid. Imagine how long it would take you to lay every one of those 100,000 bricks. But imagine a neighbor walks over and's like, "Hey, I've got some experience with that. Want me to lay a few for you?" Sure. That's really helpful. And then maybe another neighbor stops by. All of a sudden, you've got many hands making light work. That is exactly what happens when you start having the plus one conversation with your customers, because all of a sudden, in order for you to get to gold, yeah, it's 18 people, but you guys, 18 people that you have to add feels totally different than 18 people that three or four of us together get to add. And that is the power of plus one. So, maybe you have been here for a little while and you have the tendency to think, I've tried this, it doesn't work. Or I've tried to create business builders. I've really tried to get duplication going and I'm not good at it. I want you to know there's a couple of sentences that stop productivity and creativity in your brain. Number one is the sentence, I already know that. That's one of the number one sentences that will slow you down. I already know that. Maybe you've watched a video on plus one before and you're already thinking, I don't really need this. I already know that. Or I've tried that before and it didn't work for me. Well, I just want you to know a system is a system because of its ability to work across the board. If you're willing to engage in a process and then refine it, get feedback, reflect, and try again, a system works. That's what makes it a system. You won't be the anomaly to the system if you are willing to receive coaching and feedback and try again. So I just want you to know that we all wrestle with old beliefs. Even now, I still will find myself using past experiences to predict the future. I'll give you a secret. I'm not good at social media. I'm not good at it. It's something that I've always struggled with. And sometimes I'll let that old feeling creep back in. Like, I'm not good at this. And here's what I'll do. I will say, Christina, you have learned a lot. You are still actively growing in this area. Try again. That allows my brain to start looking for solutions and get a little bit more creative. Here's what I want you to know. Thinking I can't do that or I'm not good at it, it limits what is possible. So I need you guys to commit to letting go of that thinking. I don't care if you've tried 100 times. Are you willing to try 100 more? That is what is going to determine who hits their goals here versus who does not. You absolutely can become a strong business builder. I know because I did. And remember, I wasn't winning at first. There were several girls who had joined Brittany the same time I did. They all ranked up faster multiple times. And when they did, they all had duplication. I recruited myself to senior silver. I recruited myself to gold, and I about had to recruit myself to senior gold because I also wasn't good at creating business builders, but I learned. And as a matter of fact, it can be your top skill. It can be your top skill. I'm telling you guys, there is nothing I'm more confident at in this business than creating new level one golds. Nothing. But it's because I had to intentionally learn and practice and be willing to be humble enough to say, I'm not good at this yet. Can you help me? What you believe influences your energy, and how you approach this topic with your customers. Okay, so what you believe will matter. All right, so go ahead and let us know in the comments. Are you willing to let go of those past thoughts? Are you willing to embrace the new thought of, I'm learning this so that I can master it, and I'm willing to be messy in the process? Okay, if so, let's talk about how to work with people on building their businesses.
I love that. And if you are finding yourself kind of struggling with this concept of like this story that you're telling yourself, go back to last week's training. We did a lot of work on building belief and shifting your energy. And this is continuous work. You're never going to arrive at a place where your belief is 100% and you don't have to work on it anymore. Christina and I are both 8, 9 years into this, and I have to actively rebuild my belief in one of those three areas every month. Every month, your belief starts to slip. Sometimes your energy can slip based on what you're going through. This is a continual process of building and rebuilding that so that you can go walk through the next process that we're going to talk about with confidence. So pay attention to the story that you're telling yourself in your mind. Constantly be minding your mindset. That's why it's on your IPA sheet every week. We're constantly pouring in. Okay, so let's take a look at kind of some of the practical steps of what does plus one look like. The first thing we need to do as we're bringing in new customers is identify people right off the bat and talk about which bucket they're going to belong in. Now, there's two different buckets that people are going to come into when they join you as a customer. Number one, you've got your product people who are coming in and they are just excited solely about the products as they come in. That might shift as they have an experience. We'll talk about that. And then you have your product and your business people. And we're going to talk about what to do with both of those groups. Your product people, y'all, these are your customers, okay? Most of us started here. I would say probably 90% of us in this group started as a customer. I know I did. I didn't have any interest in this business in the beginning, or so I thought. Your product people are your product people are your customers. And your job is really to serve these people well and help them have an amazing experience with both you and the products, especially within that first 90-day period. That first 90 days is so crucial to, are they going to take the next step with this? Okay, so you've got your product people, and then you have your product and your business people. Now, these may be people who say that they're only interested in the products, but deep down, they're also curious about the income. They may not admit it yet, but they're mulling it over. They've seen you sharing on social media. They've seen you sharing in your customer and your team page. And our job is to make sure that we're giving them all the tools that they need to make a seamless transition into sharing with plus one and beyond. So you have your two buckets, and let's talk about what we're going to do with each one of those groups. Now, your first group is our product people, and we are going to use plus one with this group. Now, for our business people, we're going to use plus one with them, and then we're going to teach them and show them how to use it. But with our product people, we're just going to use it with them first and kind of open that door. And here's what you're going to do with every new customer. This is so simple. This is going to take me 5 minutes to explain to you, but this is a skill that if you can master this, it will absolutely transform your business. So with every new customer who joins you, and we'll share this verbiage in the comments of this post, the first thing you're going to do is send them a voice message. And I want this to be in a voice message because they need to hear your energy. They need to hear your heart and your excitement. And we talked about this last week. You may have signed 100 customers before this person, but that person needs to feel like this. At the same time, she needs to feel like this is your very first time introducing somebody to the products in terms of your excitement level. But she also needs to feel like you are the experienced pilot showing her the way. So you got to find your balance there. And you're going to send her a voice message. Sarah, I'm so excited for your products to arrive. They're going to ship out first thing tomorrow morning. I'm going to send you all your starting information right down here below. While you're waiting on those, I'm curious, are you interested in the income side of Plexus? I'm just asking so that I can make sure that I'm serving you best. Right there, you're making sure that you're putting her in the right bucket. You're taking any awkwardness out of her wondering if this is something she's going to do. You're putting everything out on the table. It's casual, it's pressure-free, and it's going to open the door to some great conversations. You may get some timid maybes or a yes, or maybe if I love the products, but you're going to know if they respond to that they're actually in bucket two. They're not just a customer. So you're going to ask every single person this question, okay? People change, people shift, their belief levels shift as they start taking the products. Most of us had to be asked more than once if we wanted to share Plexus. So make sure you're asking this from the get-go. If they say no, there's no problem. You've still set yourself up to use +1 really well. And here's an example message you can send if somebody says, no, I'm not interested in the income side. Sarah, that's totally fine. I'm so excited for you to have great results on your triplex. Just so you know, you actually received a referral link when you signed up. A lot of my customers will use it to have a friend or family member join them. It's going to help you with consistency. You're going to see better results when you're doing this in real time with somebody else. Do you want me to send information for you to make a cart in case somebody comes to mind? Or this is actually the verbiage that I use that has been working really well for my team, is to go ahead and just make a cart for them. It's taking out that middle step and reducing friction for them. And I'll send them that voice message, and then I'll kind of type out underneath, I want to make sure everything looks good with your order, and go ahead and make a cart for you if anybody comes to mind. Can you shoot over your login information? And I'll do that for you real quick. I've been using this verbiage since early December, and it's now March. I haven't had a single person who didn't give me their login information. I'm certainly not saving it and doing anything weird with their account. I'm just going in, shooting them a cart. And what you're going to do if you do this for them, you're going to build them 2 carts. You're going to build them a triplex cart. And then if they ordered anything outside of triplex, like if they did a triplex active or if they did a slim and active, you're going to build them the products that they ordered so that they can send both of those 2 basic carts to anybody who comes to mind. Okay. This works because it's simple. It works because it's relaxed and it's low pressure. And when they feel comfortable on their own terms, as they're having wins, as you're prompting them, they are much more likely to bring a friend if they already have a cart in hand, and they can see that this is a seamless process, that they don't have to like sign up for anything additional. They're just sharing something that they loved. Okay. And from there, once they get their first customer, you're going to move them into the next seat. And I love this visual. And I want you to think about like a theater, like a row of theater chairs. And everybody starts in row or seat A. And the goal is to try to move them down to seat G to become a business builder. But you can't move them down all at once. You have to move them from seat to seat to seat, baby step at a time. So once they get their first customer, their accountability buddy, now they're in seat B. And after that, you can lead them to the next step. 2 more people and you're going to earn $300 this month. Can you think of 2 more people who might want to do this with you? For me, it was my mom and my sister. Okay. You're simply moving them to the next seat. Okay. Once they get to silver, once they get their 3, you're going to move them to the next seat. I know you said you just wanted to be a customer, but you're already earning so much by referring a couple of friends. Do you want me to show you what it looks like to do just a little bit more with this? And this is how you naturally shift product people towards building without pushing, moving them from baby seat to baby seat. And this works because this is how I got onboarded as somebody who wasn't interested in the business to somebody who is now a Sapphire brand ambassador. So think of yourself as a waitress. Not everybody comes in wanting dessert, but once they see the creme brulee, maybe they change their mind. All right. Like Christina said, make this your number 1 skill. My biggest encouragement to you is that if you're going to get good at anything in Plexus, let it be this. Sharpen your +1 strategy and watch your results grow. Because when you start bringing in people in 2s and 3s instead of 1s, that's when things really get fun and duplication and numbers can grow really quickly.
Absolutely. I totally agree. If you're going to get good at one thing, let this be the first thing that you master. I love that. Okay. So let's talk about bucket number 2. These are your product and business people. Now, these are my favorite people to work with, and I get the opportunity to do this pretty often, and I'm going to tell you why. But first, we have to hit the mindset of what you probably are thinking and believing. Christina, this sounds great, but I don't have anyone interested in the business. That's okay. Remember how I told you I started? I didn't either. Here is what I started doing to make sure that I did. Talk about the business all the time. I have my team do this exercise. If I'm coaching them and they can't find people who are interested in the business, I'll simply say, go back and look at your content. Tell me how many business content posts you made. Go back and look through your stories. Did you actually talk about the opportunity? Guys, it's so easy to default to product content. We have our pretty pink drink. We can hold our cute capsules. It's really easy. But if you're not confident and energized to talk about the business, people aren't going to feel it. So then when you have to awkwardly bring it up after you've never shared anything about the business, it can feel disjointed. So you can reduce that disjointedness by starting to put yourself out there as also a business mentor. Now, some of you are thinking, Christina, what am I supposed to share? I'm just a silver. You guys, let me tell you what a silver paycheck provides for someone who doesn't have it. It means that they can take their girls out for manis and petties. And for you, that may be something that you've always been allowed to do. But as a teacher who did not have that luxury, it meant core memories for me. To see my little girl in the little girl pedicure chair with the like, it was like a teddy bear, I think, on the back of it or whatever. But that, I mean, that's an experience that I was able to provide my girls that we didn't have room for in the teaching budget. So I don't care if you don't think your paycheck is impressive to you, which for the record, you should. The fact that you were able to earn hundreds of dollars sharing products you didn't have to create, shipped from a shipping department you didn't have to manage, all with legal support, with patents in the United, I mean, let's be for real. You made money off of something you didn't have to create. That should be really freaking exciting to you. And you did it from your phone. Do you know how many hours you would have had to work a minimum wage job to make $300 that someone else can make going silver? 30. 30 hours you would have had to work flipping pizzas. That was my first job, pizzas. I guarantee you it did not take you 30 hours of hard work to go silver, and it wouldn't take your people that either. But you've got to get excited about what we have to offer. Confidence is a sound. You cannot play it on a speaker, but I'm telling you, people feel it when it's there and they notice it when it's missing. So when I say talk about the business all the time, you can talk about what the business has already afforded you, and you can talk about what you're excited about the business affording you in the future. You can share stories about what the business has afforded other people. But you guys, you'll never be more relatable than you are right now. Right now, people are so open to how to leverage their income by $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. It's really hard for somebody in that boat to relate with somebody who's making diamond money. You are more relatable now than you'll ever be. And now is where you can start looking for your five. Where are your five going to be that come in and build this with you? Okay, so sometimes people will say, hey, tell me how to make money here. They know that I make money here. I post about it. I'm very proud of it. So they'll say, hey, I want to make money. And I know the tendency with some of my new girls is they go, oh my gosh, I don't know. What do I tell them? I don't know how to help them be successful. That's actually the number one objection is I don't know if I can be responsible for their success. And that hesitation, it can kill momentum. But having the plus one system and being able to leverage that, now you can confidently feel ready to help somebody be successful. Because when we use the plus one strategy, it's not about their audience size. It's not about them being some influencer. It's about using a simple model that works. Even someone brand new can succeed if they know how to leverage this. Okay. So I think I've told you guys my stories a few different times. I went Emerald, did not hold my rank, had to figure out how to go diamond very, very quickly. And this is where I realized I'm a master at creating level one golds. This is where I realized that. And I thought, okay, what do I have to do to help somebody come in, begin sharing right away, and help them find success with that? And you know what it looked like? Helping them get a customer one at a time. As they got a customer, I would help that customer catch the vision for also grabbing a friend. We were doing plus one before we knew plus one was a thing. Okay? Because we understood that in order for me to go silver, I need to find 3 customers. In order for me to get to the next rank, I need to help 1 or 2 of those 3 also want to go silver. You guys, here's the thing. There was some reason you found it valuable enough to go silver to get into this container. So if you're tricking yourself into thinking people wouldn't want to do this, I challenge you with this. Then why did you? If there's something so shameful or spammy or salesy about doing this, why did you? You have good character, you have good integrity, you have good morals, you have good family, you have good everything else. Why, if you would want to do this, why would they not? That's just not true. So, like she said, leveraging plus one as the thing that you can feel like I'm kind of an expert here. You guys, the only difference between where you are today learning this skill and where Chelsea and I are, where we would confidently say, we're kind of experts here, is all of the practice in the meantime. And every single one of you have customers that you can be practicing this on. I know for a fact you have at least three because it was a requirement for you to be here. So that gives you at least three people who you can go and practice on. So,
Oh, I love this. And even before this call, Christina and I were just talking about being brilliant at the basics. And sometimes, even when you get to a higher level in this, it's easy to complicate and feel like you need to add extra things in. But I'm telling you, if you can just keep the focus here and you can focus on these skills and duplicating them down, your business is going to grow and you're going to turn into a leader who is a master duplicator. And we want to kind of just walk through kind of the framework for keeping your focus and keeping the main thing the main thing. And some of y'all may have heard Amber Miller share this. We're going to walk through, I love her acronym for this, and we're not going to recreate the wheel. We're going to use what she's used here. She uses what we call the VBS framework, and this is building out vision, belief, and skills in people. At the very crux of this, that is what we're doing. We're building out vision. We're casting vision for people for what this could look like. We're helping build their belief. As you're building your own belief, you're pouring into your team, and then you're giving them this simple skill set to do that. So let's talk about what each one of those practically looks like. Casting the vision starts with showing the plus one, that if you can get one customer, you could probably get two more. And what would that look like if you started duplicating that down and you started growing a team? Show them visually what this could look like. Show them on paper, like pull out the PowerPoint if you need to. Pull out some of those slides that we had from week one where you show them how a plus one can turn into a silver team, can turn into a senior silver team, can turn into a gold team. You have those resources. Use those. Paint the roadmap so that they have clarity. Clarity is so important here. Vision and clarity go hand in hand. Show them what they're working towards and show them the steps and how to get there. The second thing is building belief. Belief is fuel. And again, if you need a reminder, go back to last week's training. We talked so much about that. The thing about belief, you know this from personal experience with new people, is that it runs out fast. So how are you going to continue to pour gasoline on the belief fire of your new people who were like, maybe this is for me. Maybe I could get one more. Maybe I could get two more. Maybe I could help somebody duplicate. Your own personal energy and your own enthusiasm with how you share with these new people are going to fuel the fire, but you also have got to get them connected. You've got to get them connected. So you can do that through a couple of different ways, and we've talked about these within this group. The first thing you want to do is get them connected in a three-way messenger, in a three-way message. Get them connected with your upline or even a sideline. I have some girls that maybe they don't relate directly to my upline. Connect them with a sideline. Get them connected with somebody else who's doing Plexus so that they're seeing it from somebody else other than you. It's great third-party validation. The next thing, get them on Zooms. We have awesome team calls. We have awesome corporate opportunity events, corporate product calls every single week, Monday and Thursday. Get them connected to an outside source. Continually be sending them testimonies. If you know that weight loss is something that they're working towards or more energy, continue to pour gasoline on that belief of this is what you're working towards. This is the long-term result of consistency. Get them involved in team chats. Send them voice messages. Encourage their hearts. One of the things that I do every single morning before I open my Instagram feed, before I do anything else, I pop into my team chat. And I get in there with fresh energy and I encourage people one-on-one and in a corporate setting within my team chats. So let that be your first thing you do when you get up in the mornings or when you sit down to do your work. Pour into your existing people and pour gasoline on that belief. And then the third thing you're going to do after you've built the vision, after you're building the belief, is show them the skills that they need to succeed. Show them how to build a cart. Teach them simple verbiage like we're sharing with you here, and normalize everybody bringing along a friend. Keep it simple. They don't need to know how to grow Ruby yet. They don't need to know how to go senior gold. They don't really even know how to need to go gold yet. They just need you to give them the next step. Give them the skills that they need to get into the next chair. Plug them into IPA systems. Send them mini videos one at a time for trainings that they need. Once they get ready, put them in the next gold standard group that we have running. Get them connected to the Go app. Get them connected to the next thing that they need. And one thing that has really helped me just in my team is looking at people individually. Sometimes we can look at people as a whole and think, what does my whole team need right now? No, let me look at Sarah, who has just gotten her products, and let me help her with the one skill that she needs to get into the next bucket. Move them to the next chair And if you start to do this on an individual basis and spend 20, 30 minutes of your IPA time every day individually looking at your customers and what they need, you're going to grow a thriving business with this.
I totally agree. You guys, plus one can be the backbone of your business because there's nobody who's going to come in and be successful here that doesn't have to start right there at plus one. And you have the ability right now to simplify. What does it take? What does this person need right this second in order to feel excited and empowered to go start a conversation with their best friend or their sister about the products? How can you provide what they need? You can use the plus one to give clarity, confidence, and simplicity, whether someone is a customer or a builder, and you can build your business on this. This is a process that can be repeated over and over and over again, as wide and as deep as you want to take it. You guys, there is nothing hidden here. There are no secrets. If you're wondering, what does Christina have or what does Chelsea have that I don't have that's led to their success, this is it. This is it. The number one way for you to get where you're wanting to go is to help other people get what they want. But some of them don't know what the options are. Some of them don't know that they can choose between $300 or $1,000. They don't know. So it's up to you to say, hey, listen, just so you know, you already have a referral link. If I could show you how, would you be open? That's it. You have the tools at your disposal to show them how. What's needed here is your courage to care more about them and what this could mean for them than what they would possibly think of you. Because what they will probably think is, I'm so glad that she shared. So, hope this encourages you guys, and we will see y'all live next week. Bye.